All right, let's dive into game streaming. We're going to unpack Twitch, influencer marketing, and how gaming media is changing.
Sounds good to me.
We've got this report called The State of Play in Game Streaming and some emails, so we'll see what's up. Get this. Almost half of Gen Z and millennial gamers find out about new games through streamers.
Yeah, it's crazy how influential they are. They're not just players. They're really shaping the whole industry.
It's like having a cool older sibling recommending games, but to like millions of people.
Right.
And those recommendations lead to some serious viewership numbers. 6.4 billion hours watched every month in the first quarter of 2024.
Wow.
Games took up a huge chunk of that, like 40%. Makes you wonder if anyone even watches regular TV anymore.
It really shows you how media consumption is changing. When a streamer focuses on a game, it can blow up overnight, like Among Us back in 2020.
Oh yeah, suddenly everyone was playing it. Even people who hadn't touched a video game in years.
Exactly. Streamer Soda Poppin' did one 4-hour stream, and boom, 2 months later, it was everywhere. Even Jimmy Fallon was playing it on his show in 2021.
I remember that.
So you can see why game devs are so eager to get in on that influencer action. The question is, can you make that kind of success happen for every game?
That's what I was thinking. Everyone wants to replicate Among Us, but I don't know if it's that easy.
Yeah, you're right to be skeptical. Lots of games get a boost from a streamer, but then the hype dies down. The trick is figuring out how to make that influence last.
So it's not just about paying a streamer and hoping for the best.
Definitely not. It's about creating genuine engagement. Speaking of platforms, let's talk about Twitch. They've got 57% market share and an average of 2.5 million viewers watching at the same time.
That's insane.
Huge numbers, but Twitch isn't invincible. YouTube is at 30% market share. And then there's Kick, a new platform that's throwing money at streamers to poach them from Twitch.
So even though Twitch is on top, things are a little unstable.
Well, they're under pressure to make money. Amazon's been funding them, but that might not last forever. Running a platform like Twitch is expensive. They make money through ads, subscriptions, and sharing revenue with streamers.
Okay, I get how ads would be annoying. But what's wrong with subscriptions and revenue sharing?
A lot of those Twitch subscriptions come through Amazon Prime, which doesn't directly help Twitch. And with revenue sharing, platforms take like 30 to 50%. Plus, all the costs of running the platform, it's tight margins.
Wow, that's rough. So if it's hard for the platform to make money, what does that mean for streamers who are trying to make a living?
Leaked reports say 99% of streamers earn less than minimum wage.
Seriously?
And in a recent poll, almost half of creators said their main goal is just to survive.
That's so different from that image of streamers making millions just by playing games.
Yeah, it's a lot tougher than it looks.
So why is it so hard for streamers to make a decent living? Is it just all the competition?
That's a big part of it. It feels like everyone wants to be the next big streamer. But there's more to it.
Like what?
Those high platform fees we talked about. Plus, donations and ad revenue can be unpredictable. And streamers are completely at the mercy of these platforms. The rules can change at any time, and that impacts their income.
So streamers are walking a tightrope. How are they trying to stabilize things?
They're getting creative. A lot of them rely on sponsored streams. They get paid to play certain games. They also get donations from viewers and sell merch. But there's a bigger opportunity here that's being missed.
What do you mean?
Game developers could be doing a lot more to work with streamers long term. Right now, it's mostly one-off sponsorships. But what if they collaborated on something more meaningful?
I see what you're saying. Instead of just playing a game for a few hours, they could actually work together to create something special for the community.
Exactly. There are some examples of that, but it's not as common as it could be.
Do you have any examples of those deeper partnerships?
Scopely's Star Trek Fleet Command game used regular sponsorships with streamers, but it didn't really change their downloads or viewership.
So it sounds like there's some challenges to figure out. What are the biggest hurdles?
One problem is authenticity. Viewers can tell when a streamer is genuinely excited about a game versus just doing it for the sponsorship. And a lot of streamers don't want to push games too hard because they don't want to lose their audience's trust.
Right. It's a tough balance.
And then there's the final challenge, getting people to actually download the game. We have so many platforms and devices these days, it's hard to get someone to take that extra step.
So it sounds like everyone's looking for the perfect formula. Streamers want to make money, platforms want to be profitable, and game developers want to sell games. Is there a way for everyone to win in this crazy world?
There is, but it'll take collaboration and some serious innovation.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. What does the future of game streaming look like if everyone starts working together?
Well, one exciting trend we're seeing is content creators becoming game developers and publishers themselves. They're realizing they can create the games they want to see, and they're taking charge.
Wait, streamers are becoming game developers. That's awesome.
It is. There's Mad Mushroom, which is an influencer-owned indie game publishing company. And then there's Big Mode, started by the YouTuber Video Game Donkey. They're both focused on supporting indie games they believe in.
So they're not just playing games, they're actually creating them. That's amazing.
Exactly. And it goes beyond publishing. Some developers are putting creators right into the games themselves.
You mean like having them as characters in the game?
Yes. Zynga did this with their Top Troops game. They partnered with Mr. Beast, the huge YouTuber, to create a special in-game event, and downloads went way up during the event. It shows the potential of bringing creators into the game world.
So it's not just about sponsoring streams anymore. It's about creating these immersive experiences where creators and their communities become part of the game. That's a game changer. What else is coming up?
We can't forget about YouTube. They've been growing their gaming platform, and they have a couple of big advantages.
You mentioned that before. What are those advantages?
First, they've been getting some major esports events, which raises their profile in gaming. Second, they have their video-on-demand platform, which is already super profitable. So there's less pressure on their live streaming side to make money right away.
So they can be patient and play the long game.
Exactly. But even YouTube has to stay sharp. TikTok's starting to try out live streaming.
TikTok? Really? I thought that was just for like dance videos and memes.
They're always changing things up. They even did a deep dive with ABC News Australia recently about how streamers on TikTok are using live face-offs to compete for gifts from viewers. It's a whole new level of live entertainment.
Wow, so even giants like YouTube have to watch out. It sounds like the competition is getting fierce.
It is, and that's actually creating opportunities for smaller niche platforms to get bigger.
How so?
For example, when Twitch was temporarily banned in Turkey, another platform called Nimo TV saw a 30% jump in viewership. And then you have new platforms like Kick.com trying to shake things up.
I've heard of Kick. They offer streamers 95% of their subscription revenue, right?
That's right. It's a bold move to attract big streamers, but who knows if they can keep it up long term. Running a platform is expensive, and giving away that much revenue is a huge risk.
So they're hoping to get enough viewers and ad revenue to balance out the costs.
Exactly. Then there's Noise, another platform. They're focusing on building a really engaged community. Still in closed beta, but they just got $20 million in funding.
Interesting. So while Kick is about grabbing attention with big payouts, Noise is trying to build something more sustainable.
Yeah, good way to put it. And in the middle of all this, Twitch is trying to evolve too. Their CEO hinted at a shift away from their closed ecosystem, which has been their model for years.
What does that mean? Are they opening up somehow?
It seems like they're realizing they need to embrace external content sharing. They're redesigning their home screen to be more like TikTok, so viewers can jump between videos and discover new streamers easily. They're also making it easier for streamers to share on YouTube and TikTok, hoping that will bring people back to Twitch.
So they're admitting that the world of content is bigger than just Twitch.
Exactly. They're adapting, but will it be enough to keep them ahead? They still have those revenue challenges, and the competition's not slowing down.
This is a lot to take in. The future of game streaming sounds like a wild ride.
It definitely will be. But one thing's for sure, collaboration is key.
What do you mean? I thought it was all about competition.
Competition's important, but the real winners will be those who figure out how to work together. Streamers, platforms, and game developers need to create a system where everyone benefits.
That makes sense. If everyone's fighting for scraps, no one really wins.
Right. The future of game streaming depends on finding those win-win situations. It's wild how those lines between content creator and game developer are kind of blurring.
It's like they're smashing together to make something totally new.
Yeah, exactly. And that opens up all sorts of possibilities for the future of gaming. It's not just playing anymore. It's about shaping the experiences we want.
Okay, I'm all ears. Hit me with some examples of how this is playing out.
Well, we were talking about Mad Mushroom and Big Mode, those creator-owned publishers. They're showing how influencers can pick and support games that really click with them and their audiences.
So instead of just taking any sponsorship deal, they're highlighting games they actually believe in.
Exactly. It's more authentic, you know? And it creates deeper engagement because fans trust their judgment.
Makes sense. If a streamer I love suggests a game, I'm way more likely to check it out than if I just saw some random ad.
Right. And this model works better long-term because The creators are invested in the games doing well. Everybody wins, creators support games they love, developers get exposure to a loyal audience, and players get to discover cool new games.
I love that. It's like a perfect little ecosystem. But it goes beyond just publishing, right? You mentioned creators being integrated directly into game content.
Oh yeah, definitely. We talked about the Mr. Beast event in Top Troops,
Yeah.
but there are other ways it's happening. Some developers are putting popular streamers in as characters or even working them into the story.
Whoa, that's next level. Can you imagine playing a game and suddenly your favorite streamer pops up as a character?
That would be so cool. Imagine quests designed by your favorite streamer, or items based on their catchphrases.
Oh man, that would be epic. It totally blur the lines between the virtual world and the real world.
Right, it could make that connection between players and creators even stronger.
What if you could actually team up with your favorite streamer inside the game?
Now you're talking. That kind of real-time interaction would change everything.
It'd be like having your own personal gaming squad, led by a streamer you love.
And it opened up amazing possibilities for community building.
So it's not just about playing, it's about experiencing the game with your favorite streamer and their whole community. That's insane. My mind is blown.
It could totally revolutionize how we think about gaming and how we interact with the creators we follow. But all this innovation makes you wonder, what does it mean for Twitch?
Yeah.
They're facing some serious competition now, right?
Yeah. YouTube Gaming and Kick are gaining ground, and even TikTok's testing the waters with live streaming. Do you think Twitch is in trouble?
Things are heating up, for sure. They're still the biggest, but they can't just sit back and relax. YouTube Gaming is a real threat, especially with their huge audience and Google's resources behind them.
And Kick's shaking things up with that crazy revenue split. They're getting big names like XQC. Think their model's gonna last.
It's a gamble, that's for sure. Giving away 95% of subscription revenue is super generous, but also super risky. They're betting big on getting enough viewers and ad money to make up for it.
So we'll have to see how that plays out. They can change everything, or crash and burn. What about those smaller platforms we mentioned before? Do you think they have a chance against the giants?
It's definitely possible. As the gaming world gets more crowded, we're seeing more niches pop up. People are looking for specific content that matches their interests.
So instead of one or two massive platforms controlling everything, we might end up with lots of platforms focused on specific genres or communities.
Exactly. There could be platforms just for retro games, esports, even platforms for female gamers or LGBTQ+ gamers.
That makes sense. It's all about finding your people and connecting with those who share your passions.
Right. And as tech gets better and streaming becomes even more accessible, I think we'll see even more of these niche platforms emerge.
That's exciting. More choices for viewers and more opportunities for creators. But we can't forget about the money issue. We talked about how tough it is for streamers to earn a living. Any solutions on the horizon?
Definitely. There are some really cool developments happening with alternative ways to make money. We already mentioned tips and donations, which are getting more and more popular.
Right, like a virtual tip jar for streamers.
Exactly. Lets fans directly support the creators they love, strengthens that bond between them.
And gives streamers more control over their income instead of relying on platform revenue sharing and unpredictable ads. Any other interesting models popping up?
Some platforms are trying out microtransactions within streams.
How does that work?
So imagine you're watching your favorite streamer and they're about to try a super hard challenge in a game. You could pay a little bit to give them an extra life or a power-up.
Whoa, so viewers could influence the stream in real time. That's wild.
It is, and it makes it more interactive and engaging for viewers while giving streamers another way to earn money.
Everybody wins. It seems like there's a lot of experimenting going on with how streamers make money.
For sure. Platforms are realizing they need to take care of creators if they want to keep the best ones around. And the more ways streamers have to earn a living, the better the content will be for everyone.
Like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly.
Right.
A healthy streaming ecosystem is good for everyone involved.
Okay, so we've talked about creator-led publishing, the rise of niche platforms, and all these new ways of making money. As we wrap up this part of our deep dive, any final thoughts for our listeners?
The gaming world's changing so fast, it's an awesome time to be a part of it.
What advice would you give someone who's just starting out as a streamer?
Find your niche. What makes you different? What kind of community do you want to build? And once you find your voice, don't be afraid to try new things and keep learning. This landscape's always changing. Gotta be adaptable.
Great advice. So as we move to the next part, keep thinking about the future of game streaming. What trends are you most excited about?
What games do you hope to see in the years to come?
Let's explore these ideas as we dig even deeper into the world of game streaming. It's wild to think that you, the viewers, have so much power in shaping the gaming world.
Right, like it's a choose your own adventure, but for the entire industry.
Makes me wonder, is traditional media becoming less important in the gaming world? With all these streamers and YouTubers and TikTokers, who even needs websites and magazines anymore?
That's a big question. A lot of people in the industry are trying to figure that out. The whole streaming and influencer thing has definitely changed how gamers find out about new games and get info.
It's like the power dynamic has flipped. Gamers aren't relying on big media companies to tell them what's cool anymore. They're listening to the creators they trust.
Exactly. Streamers and YouTubers have a direct connection with their audience. Their opinion matters way more than some random review or ad.
Yeah, they seem more authentic and relatable,
Yeah.
which is important when gamers are constantly bombarded with marketing.
Right. And this shift affects game developers too. They can't just stick to their old marketing strategies.
So, no more press releases and hoping for the best.
Not really, no. They got to work with streamers and influencers, build relationships, and get creative about fitting their games into the whole streaming world.
They need to be part of the conversation, not just shouting from the sidelines.
Exactly. The smart developers are already doing it. They partner with streamers for early access, they do community events, they even design stuff in their games specifically for streaming.
So it's a win-win. Streamers get cool new stuff to play, developers reach a huge audience, and viewers get to experience games in new ways.
Exactly. Everyone benefits. But even with all this good stuff, we can't ignore the problems. Like we said, a lot of streamers are struggling financially. That needs to change.
Yeah, despite how popular streaming is, a lot of creators aren't making enough money to live on. And it's not just about competition. There are bigger issues like those platform fees and unpredictable income. It makes it hard for streamers to be financially stable.
For sure. And we need to fix these problems if we want a healthy streaming ecosystem.
So what can we do? What are the solutions?
Well, we talked about alternatives to the traditional ways of making money. Things like tipping, donations, and those microtransactions. Those can give streamers a more steady income and help them connect with their communities.
Right, but it's not just up to streamers to figure this out. The platforms need to step up too.
Absolutely. They got to find better ways to share revenue and give creators the tools and support they need to succeed.
And what about game developers? What can they do to help streamers?
Lots. They can move past those one-time sponsorships and build real partnerships, design game elements with streaming in mind, and actually engage with streamers and their communities.
So it's about building a system where everyone supports each other. Streamers, platforms, and game developers all working together to make things better.
Exactly. That's the key to the future of game streaming.
That's a great point. As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one last thought. The world of game streaming is always changing. It's exciting, full of energy, and anything is possible.
Who knows, maybe you'll be the next big streamer, the next awesome game developer, or even start the next big platform.
The future of gaming is in your hands. Go out there, be creative, connect with people, and most importantly, play games.
And maybe we'll catch you on the next deep dive.